AITA for not allowing my daughter to significantly alter my wedding dress. I am not the original poster. That is you, Comfortable, Love 8350. She posted in r, Am I the Asshole? Mood spoiler. Personal growth. It might make you a little bit misty-eyed. Less than. Original post. February 28, 2024. My 44F daughter, 25F, is getting married later this year to her girlfriend, 27F. I have always dreamed of walking her down the aisle. My husband passed when she was a child, and she enjoyed talking about a future wedding and playing bride when she was a child, picking flowers and colors and venues. She loved watching the videos of my wedding and seeing me and her father get married, and it was important in our bonding. When she was 13, I promised her my wedding dress. However, her clothing style is more manly. She began refusing to wear dresses or skirts when she was in her late teens, even trying to demand her school allow her to wear trousers. And it was difficult convincing her to wear dresses to formal events. She has gone through phases of wanting short hair, wanting to be a boy, and getting tattoos. I have always been very supportive of all of this. Even when she met her girlfriend and proposed to her, I have encouraged her as much as I can. I am contributing significantly to the wedding. I recently called and asked her when she wanted me to bring over the dress, as it would likely need slight alterations, and she dropped the bombshell on me that she wanted to wear a suit and have my wedding dress altered to remove the skirt portion so that the bodice could be worn with trousers. At first I agreed, but dragged my feet bringing the dress over. After a few weeks I changed my mind and told her that the dress was important to me and I didn't want her to ruin it. When I promised her the dress, it was because I thought she would wear it as a dress, and she will only get to wear it if it is a dress. I offered that her girlfriend could wear it as a dress instead, but my daughter said that would still be ruining it. Her girlfriend is a much larger woman than me, so it would need more altering, and has since not been answering my messages except with saying that the dress would be a connection to her dad, so she is disappointed not to have it. I offered to go dress shopping with her for a replacement, but apparently some of our family think I am stopping her having the dress because I disagree with her being masculine. AITA for telling her she can have it as a dress or not have it at all. I may be the asshole because I promised it to her, but that was when she was very young and before I knew she wanted to change it. Relevant comments. All comments replied to were upvoted. Commenter. Info. What happens to the dress if she doesn't wear it? Is it just going to sit in storage? Or do you still look at it fairly regularly? In other words, what will you lose if she alters it? It lives in my closet. I don't seek it out, but I see it. If the dress could be returned to its original state, or if there is something from OOP's late husband that daughter could wear. Thank you. I will be talking to a professional about if it is possible to recover the dress after splitting it. I only have my husband's cufflinks from his wedding suit as he was buried in it, and I will offer her those. You obviously just aren't happy with her not wanting to wear a dress. You would have been fine with significantly altering it for your daughter's fiancé. But now you're not. You're homophobic. And you said in the past it was difficult to convince your daughter to wear dresses to formal events. You have a history of trying to get your daughter to wear dresses instead of respecting her choices. Why did you make her wear them? I was trying to prevent her from being judged by people more traditional. Commenter. Y'all, she doesn't want suggestions. She wanted to be vindicated in her homophobia. I am not homophobic. I support my daughter. I have just been surprised and am struggling. I have gotten direct messages telling me that I am right not to give my daughter the dress because they are homophobic and think she should not be getting married. If I didn't feel so strongly about the dress, I would give it to her simply to spite them. Commenter. YTA. Read other comments regarding microaggressions, transphobia and homophobia. I want to wear a suit to my wedding too. It's not wrong. If you're unwilling to give your child a family heirloom because you want it to remain untouched, don't offer it to them. Oop. I truly do not want to be microaggressive to my daughter. I offered it to her long before any thought that she would want it to be changed. Oop is voted NTA, though there are plenty of people who vote YTA or NAH. Update post. March 2nd, 2024. 3 days later. I posted recently about my daughter surprising me by wanting to turn my wedding dress into a suit, which I refused despite having promised her because the reality hurt me. I was upset and it made me feel better to see people agree with me. But the comments that made me upset made me think the most about the future and helped me empathize with my daughter. My daughter came over tonight and apologized for ignoring me, and explained that she had always thought she had been promised she could have the dress to own, rather than borrow. So she was sad to have lost that dream. I apologized for if I had ever come off as not supportive of her. As many comments said, I sounded homophobic, and I want to be clear that I am not. I respect and love my daughter. We talked about many things, especially about my husband, how his presence could still be felt on the day, how my daughter felt jealous that her fiancé would get to share the day with both of her parents, while she has only a memory. We watched the wedding video again. It's been a few years. And cried a bit. We also had some wine, so I apologize if this is not completely clear. I told her that I hadn't realized how much giving up the dress would hurt and that I didn't think I could completely sacrifice it, and that I would talk to a tailor about if the dress could be separated and be put back together and returned to me. But if not, then I would help her find a suit as alternative and give her some of the dress's lining to use in it. I also surprised her with her father's wedding cufflinks to wear, as suggested by many commenters, and my veil in case her fiancé wanted to wear it, and she was extremely happy with this as a compromise. She asked if she could try the dress on just to see what it would be like. I will admit I was hoping she would change her mind once she had it on. She let me do her hair and makeup however I felt like. She was laughing so hard because it reminded her of when I did her braids for school. She picked out things for me to wear too in her style too, just to see how I would look, and we took pictures together and danced. She looked beautiful in the dress. It was like I had always dreamed when she was my little girl. But she didn't look like herself. Suddenly I knew a lot of you had been right. I hugged her and apologized and told her to take it and do whatever she wants. She has gone home now, and some parts of me regret giving it to her. I have been teary putting away the photos. But more than that, I am thankful that I got to see what I thought would happen and realize it wasn't right, and that I can say goodbye to the expectations I had had for so long. My daughter is happy as herself, and it is an honor that she wants to share that with me. Relevant comments. In response to a deleted comment, it's hard letting go of something I wanted. Yes. But I realized that I had been motivated more than I thought by wanting her to look more feminine. And getting to see that in practice made me realize that wanting my daughter to wear the dress as a dress was based on outdated expectations, and it just wasn't her. I am happy with my decision. You're going to regret it because you were caught up in the moment. I don't regret it. Sometimes it takes a strong moment to overcome emotional inertia. Editors note this comment was posted several days later, so Oop had time to think. This exchange. Commenter. This whole scene is so touching to me as a queer person because it's a battle I've experienced internally as well. There are times I still fall back on old expectations that I should be pretty and feminine. But every time I give in and try dressing up, it is exactly like this. It's not that I don't look good in a dress and makeup, but I can't look or feel like myself, and that's more important. It's really moving to me that you were able to let go of your expectations and embrace your daughter as herself. It sounds like the wedding will be beautiful and full of meaning. Oop. Thank you. I know I have gone too far at times in expecting her to be feminine while thinking I was being supportive or protective. There was always a small anxiety there that she should fit in more to be accepted. Even if I didn't think there was anything wrong with her, that is gone now. I wouldn't have blamed Oop for wanting to keep her dress at all. But you can really feel how much she loves her daughter by making the choice to give it up despite her hesitation. This is probably the best wedding gift she could give. Mom and daughter are lucky to have each other. But she didn't look like herself. Right, who's chopping onions around here? It's okay for Oop to want the dress to be the dress, and to struggle with the idea of the loss of a tangible memory. It's also okay for people to have ideas, dreams, and expectations, and for people to have to moonar those things and let them go. Clearly that had to happen a bit on both sides. That isn't homophobic. It's just how life works. As a queer person, this was never homophobia and doesn't need to be falsely labeled with a homophobia TW. It's not even a case of it took her a while to accept her daughter. It's just about the grief that Oop carried and the memories and feelings about the dress. There's nothing inherently wrong or homophobic about not wanting a wedding dress chopped in half, regardless of the intention. I'm happy Oop came to the realization that she was okay with her daughter taking the dress and doing with it which she wants. But there was absolutely nothing wrong with not wanting it to be significantly altered in the first place. I think what people don't understand about family heirlooms is that for a lot of families, when you pass down an object, it's not necessarily so that you become its new owner, but that you're its new keeper. Part of that responsibility means preserving the integrity of the object so that it remains a family treasure that will be passed on. Taking the dress apart to remake it into a pantsuit, or even another completely different dress, defeats the purpose and removes that emotional connection with the heirloom, because it's not the heirloom anymore. It's something new, which might be okay for some people, but for others, it's not in the spirit of passing down family treasures if they're considered a family item that belongs to the collective rather than a personal item that you're free to do whatever you want with. I have some gold bracelets that my grandmother made, and my father would haunt me from the grave if I dared melt them down to redesign them into something that's more of my style. I don't see Oop as homophobic at all. This is the gay in me coming out, but it very much reminds of 27 Dresses. The main character's sister drastically alters their deceased mother's wedding dress, and it's a huge thing. No one is a bad guy for wanting their wedding dress to be drastically changed. And the daughter isn't an asshole for asking to change it. This update is so beautiful. It really drives me crazy. As a trans person, when people call any hesitancy to gender nonconformity transphobic, her daughter was a cis woman. Her wanting to wear a suit and her mother's hesitation over it was not transphobic. Honestly, I don't think it was homophobic either. She just had an emotional attachment to the dress, and knowing it would have to be taken apart to make the suit was hard for her. Like, tell someone you want to take their childhood stuffed animal and rip it apart to make a handbag. Them having hesitation over that idea doesn't mean they hate you. It's pretty friggin' harmful to just throw phobic terms around to mean things I don't like and a queer person is involved. There are actual, horrific levels of anti-LGBTQ violence happening in the world daily. And using LGBTQ people for your own ego boost is messed up. Honestly, this got me. Literally, this is the best update I have seen about a wedding in a while. Op and her daughter are lucky to have each other and glad they are able to communicate with each other. Oop's reaction is perfectly understandable. At the time of the post, the dress had far more sentimental value to her than it did to the daughter. It was her own damn wedding dress she wore to marry the love of her life. It's also not homophobic to be sad that her daughter wouldn't wear it the way it was and she had always envisioned. Chopping that wedding dress up means it will never be the same again. It cannot go back to the way it was, so she's giving it up. She ultimately decided to do it for her daughter, but she's allowed to mourn the loss of such an important item. The audacity of people to call this woman homophobic after she supported her gay daughter throughout her entire life because she did not want a treasured piece of her life ruined. It was never about homophobia at all. Some people really had to stretch to get that. It was about losing her dream of seeing her daughter in the dress, with a healthy dose of regret and sadness that the man that she married whilst wearing that dress is no longer with them. OMFG, people need to calm down. Not doing something exactly the way a gay person wants it done, it's always homophobic. Not wanting your own wedding dress cut up isn't homophobic either, especially if your husband is dead. Did the daughter have a crystal ball and know this would happen? Or did the daughter just give the mom this temporary gift if playing dress up, as sort of a kind gift? What's up with all these daughters wanting to rip up their mother's dresses? Oh, this gave me big feelings. I'm an AFAB only child. I am a trans guy but always loved my mother's wedding dress and she always said I could wear it when I got married. I talked with her a few years ago about how I'd probably want to dye it gray or black and wear a short tuxedo top bit over it. And if she was okay with that, and she absolutely was. She was just so happy I still wanted to wear the gown. And even more happy that I wanted to make it my own. Her family has a long tradition of wearing and altering the past generation's clothes. It's a shame that saying no someone who is queer is lambasted as homophobic sometimes. That's just weaponizing homophobia to force people to do what you want. And it's so disrespectful to people who have suffered through real homophobia. There was no homophobes here at all. Just a mother and daughter grieving their husband, father, and wanting to feel connected to him. What a beautiful story. Strange that so many of the original commenters were so harsh. But not surprising because Reddit. You don't have to let go of what's precious to you just because you're a parent. It's not like it's something that would kill the daughter to not have. She's already compromised a lot with the linings and such. Do parents not deserve to keep their own trophies? I think this is a really lovely update. I don't know if OOP's first post was homophobic per se. I get how for some parents it can be hard to let go of an image you have for your kid's future. And her daughter didn't have to be gay to not want to wear the dress. Regardless, I'm glad she and her daughter were able to communicate, reminisce, and come to a happy conclusion. Oop will have the memory of seeing her daughter in the dress for a moment. But hopefully she will appreciate seeing it as a suit that her daughter loves herself in even more.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.